Before we move on, there's just a few more interesting things that I have to share with you about Antarctica. The first is a particularly curious accidental leak of information that supports this idea that something is going on down there. And it actually comes from Fitbit. You see, recently Fitbit published a world heat map with Strava to show where people are commonly wearing their Fitbits. Now, I suppose most people do not disable their location services because this published map at first showed a number of curious formations under the ice in Antarctica, including a large ring and some other underground bases. Since this was initially published, the government or whoever has forced Fitbit to remove these images from their public heat map, but you can still find a few YouTube videos of people pointing them out. Well, hey, like this one. Finally, in the last several years, photos that were taken using Google Earth were publicized, causing more than a few heads to turn. Here is one that shows a rather curious formation that is clearly not natural to the environment. And here is one that looks more than a little bit like a pyramid. Many were quick to suggest that this was a remnant of some Atlantean civilization, but many critics were quick to put forth that it was just a four-sided mountain, and that pyramid-shaped peaks are very common, such as the Matterhorn in the Alps and Mount Bullenstinder in Iceland as notable examples. And while there's no question that these are mighty mountains, this one in Antarctica is significantly cleaner. There's just no comparison really. It's much less rigid than any of the examples the skeptics give to try and debunk it. But look, it might just be a convenient mountain. We don't claim to know either way, but it's interesting to look at and ponder, wouldn't you agree? Now, along with all of these ancient discoveries and the revelation of our distant past, there is also the conversation of the Richat Structure, sometimes called the Eye of the Sahara or Heart of Feathers in Arabic, which is commonly believed by many today to be a remnant of Atlantis. There's actually some pretty strange coincidences about it that have led many people today to assume the connection. You see, in his writings, Plato explained that the central city of Atlantis was sectioned into 3 rings, each with a large moat of water between them. And this is what draws many people to believe the Richat structure to actually be Atlantean remnants. For as we look at it from space, it really does appear almost exactly like Plato's account. But there's a little bit more to the theory than just looking similar. In a nutshell, according to Plato, the first king of Atlantis was known as Atlas, who divided his kingdom among his brothers and eventually created the vast empire that occupied much of the known world. But get this, according to the legends of the Berber people, who today live in Northwest Africa, they also have a mythical founder king who, you guessed it, was also called Atlas. Granted, there's not much to suggest they are the same person, and even Atlas of Mauritania is partly folklore, but according to reconstructed maps based on Herodotus's writings a while before Plato, some say he placed Atlantis in the same region right below the Atlas Mountains in Morocco.